countries are making strides to improve gender equality. From new laws to new movements, a lot has been done to end inequality between genders. Even though gender equality has come a long way throughout the years, there is still a lot of ground that needs to be covered and issues that need to be addressed. First, I will discuss the evolution of gender equality through the years spanning from 1848 until present day. Then I will talk about the issues that are still persisting, and finally, I will talk about certain movements and laws that have been passed to help eliminate gender inequality. To begin, gender equality has come a long way in just a time span of around 100 years. According to an ensemble of historians from the History Channel, who wrote an article regarding the 19th Amendment, when the U.S. was still a developing country, women were viewed as less than men. They were not granted equal rights. For example, women could not own property, collect money, or even have the right to vote. As a result, the women's rights movement was launched. It began in 1848 and lasted until 1920 when a new law was passed for women's suffrage. This law was the 19th Amendment, and it granted all women of the United States the right to vote. Another act that was put into place was aimed to help inequality was the Equal Pay Act of 1963. According to another group of historians from the History Channel, who wrote an article about the Equal Pay Act, at the time that this act was passed, women were only earning 59 cents to a man's dollar. Its purpose was to end this pay gap. Even though the intent of the act was there, equal pay is still a concern in today's society. Building on this, there are still many issues going on today regarding gender equality. Many people are concerned about the pay gap between men and women. In a study done by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development that was showcased in an article written by Nicole Schwab and Analia Jurgensen, there is a 17.9% difference in the earnings between men and women in the United States. This percentage difference is based on men and women who are doing equal work for unequal pay. Another overwhelming concern that has been widely publicized as of late is the sexual abuse that women endure. This sexual abuse is not only at home, but also at school, at work, and in public. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 5 women will be raped in their lifetime, and 1 in 3 will have experienced sexual violence. Of the total number of sexual assault cases reported, 91% of them were filed by women. In order for there to be gender equality, sexual violence needs to end. Even though there are still a lot of issues going on, the United States has been making enormous strides towards equality. They have passed various laws to help gender equality. As mentioned previously, sexual violence is a large concern today. Many assaulted women have been stepping forward about their abuse thanks to the Me Too movement. Several new laws have been put into place thanks to this movement. Jeff Daniels wrote an article about this topic. Laws put in place such as Bill 1343 that requires employers to train their employees about sexual harassment, and Bill 1300 that prohibits companies from withholding information about sexual violence cases from law enforcement are making an impact in many people's lives today. Something that many people do not realize is that women are not directly granted equal rights in the Constitution. According to Benjamin Long, a journalist for the Thomson Reuters Foundation that promotes gender equality, there is a new push to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. This amendment was first brought up in 1972, but was never ratified because not enough states didn't approve it. Only one more state needs to approve of it today to make it become an amendment to the Constitution. Another thing that has been created to abolish discrimination between genders is the use of third gender IDs. When we think of gender equality, we usually think of men and women. But what we need to think of in today's society is the LGBT community also. As stated in an article written by the World Economic Forum, 11 states, including Washington, D.C., now have started offering IDs with X's rather than just male or female. These X's represent third genders. This is an enormous step towards reducing discrimination against these people for their sexual orientation and what gender they identify as. In conclusion, gender equality is a large issue, but many things have been done in order to solve this problem. From 1848, when the women's rights movement was started, to today when third gender IDs are being issued, so much has been done to reduce the gaps between genders. The 19th Amendment and Equal Pay Act kicked off the fight for equal opportunity. Fast forward to the present, and much more has been done to promote fairness, including the Equal Rights Amendment, third gender IDs, and laws inspired by the Me Too movement. Even though there are still some things standing in the way of gender equality, such as the pay gap and sexual assault, there has been a lot of improvement and much needed reform. We have accomplished so much in the past 100 years, so imagine where gender equality will be in 100 more.